Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'll be showing you how I make one of our family herbal soaps. Okay, if you are seeing the channel for the first time, this is Jofia DIY. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Okay, what you're seeing on the screen right now is a batch of soap I made sometime. That should be 2 months now, and I took the quantity I needed. I transferred the remaining one into this jug and I kept it. I just found it and I decided to add it to this batch of soap that I am making. Okay, I'll be using shea butter. This is my shea butter. I'll measure that into a pot before melting it. If you are a soap maker, this process will be easy for you because I'll be listing the ingredients in this family herbal soap. Okay, what is in the pot now is my shea butter. Please use the percentage that works for you, that you use for your brand or for your soaps. I'm putting in my tallow. Every soap maker have the percentage they use their ingredients. Okay, so work with the one that suits your brand or your customers. All right, so I'm going to melt that. I will measure out other ingredients while it is melting. Hey, I want to measure my oils. I'll be using different oils for this particular soap. What I'm measuring now is my palm kernel oil, my PKO. I'm using PKO because that is the oil that is available, a hard oil that is available right now. I'm going to pour that into my mixing bowl. Anyone I measure, I'll pour it into my mixing bowl. Okay, I'll measure my sunflower oil. I will also measure the quantity I'll be needing for this particular soap. I'll pour that into the mixing bowl. Then I will measure my coconut oil. I have this coconut oil I made last year and this year is almost ending, so I decided to add it to this batch so that I will not have this particular coconut oil left with me. So I'll pour that into the mixing bowl and I will measure my tallow and my shea butter. They have melted and they have cooled down. I'll measure the quantity I'll be needing for this production. I tag this soap family herbal soap because children can use it, adults can use it, and since I've been making this soap, almost all my customers, they are all going for this particular soap. They're no more buying oats and honey, this that, they just buy this particular one, especially families that have same complexion, that are not that fair, that are chocolate or caramel. Okay, so this is the soap I made 2 months ago that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. So I'll put that into the pot to melt it. Okay, so I'm going to kind of rebatch. Let's see, I'm rebatching it to add my ingredients. Okay, but after rebatching it, after melting it down, I'm going to add it to this fresh batch. All right, so this particular soap has been cooked, so even if I decide not to add it to this batch, I'll just remelt it, add whatever ingredients I want to add, pour into the mold, then cut when it hardens. Okay, so I'm going to keep that aside and continue with this new batch. What I'm going to measure now, I'm going to measure my caustic soda. Okay, my caustic soda for the quantity of oils I have measured that or I am using. Okay, so whichever method you want to use, I have told you people that you can make your soap by 3 ways. You can make your soap using hydrometer, you can make your soap using soap calculator, you can make your soap using saponification value. So whichever way that is working for you or that you have been using. Okay, so I'm going to take the actual quantity of caustic soda I'll be needing for this production. Then I will measure in my water. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. Subscription is free, it's totally free. Okay, so I'm measuring in my water now. I'm measuring my water in ml. Anything I'm using that is liquid, I measure that in ml. Okay, now I'll start adding my caustic soda gradually into the water. Okay, remember you can also use an extract, any extract of your choice as your water. Okay, but you have to refrigerate that or freeze it before you can use it immediately. So this is me adding the caustic soda. I've added the caustic soda, and this mixture is very, very hot. I mean, it is very, very hot, and if I add it to this oil, it's going to trace fast, especially if the oil is not warm and your caustic soda is very hot. So what I did is my oil is warm. Actually, it's warm because I melted the shea butter and the tallow, so I mix it with the other oil. That is why it is warm. So if you're making a semi-hot method, make sure that your oil is warm or room temperature. Then your caustic soda should also be warm, not very hot. Okay, so I'll allow that to cool down a bit, not completely cooling down, no, just cool down a bit, because I need the heat from this caustic soda to cook my soap, since I am not using a direct heat. So I will mix the oil for everything to mix well. Then I'll start adding the caustic soda solution gradually until I added everything. I'll add it gradually. You can also add at once, but I prefer adding gradually so that the mixture will be uniform and stress-free. Okay, so I'll mix that very, very well. Okay, now if you are using only semi-hot, okay, and you don't want the soap to gel, at this stage you can start adding your additives. Okay, you can start adding your additive, then mix very well and pour into your mold. But I want this soap to gel. I want it to cook a bit in the mold before adding the ingredients. So I'm going to cover the soap now and allow it to gel for some minutes. Okay, as that is gelling, I will put this one in the pot on my sort of heat for it to melt. Okay, I think this is about 3 to 5 minutes now. Can you see that the color of the soap has changed and it has risen a kind of? Okay, so at this point it has gelled a bit. All right, so I'm going to mix that very well, mix it up very, very well before adding the other one. I have received a lot of questions that how long will you keep your soap to gel? I can't really tell you the amount, the actual time you should keep your soap to gel. Okay, look at this soap. The color is different from when I mixed it. Okay, that shows that the soap has gelled. So I'm going to mix it very well. Make sure that the water on that, because that is gelling, there's going to be some kind of separation. You make sure that you mix that very well if you're using this method. Okay, now this is the one in the pot. Like I told you, it has been cooked. Okay, can you see how jelly it is, even the color? So I'm adding that into this fresh batch I make now. Then I'm going to mix everything well, mix it very, very well. Make sure that both combines together so that there won't be any part that is more color than the other. As you can see, the colors are not the same. Okay, so I mixed it very well. Then before adding in my ingredients, okay, in this particular soap I did a swirl. I swirled this soap, so you're going to see how I achieved that. Okay, so I think it is enough now for me to start adding in my other ingredients. The first ingredient I will add is my oat powder. I will add it to the whole batch. I'll add it and mix it very well. Oat is an exfoliant. It helps to rejuvenate the skin. It's good for sensitive skin. It's good for babies. It's good for adults. It's good for aged skin. Okay, that is why I cannot make baby soap without adding oat powder in it. So, and this is a family soap, so I must add oats in it. Okay, I'll mix that very well. Then I will add my fragrance. I will add my fragrance also to the whole batch. Then I'll mix it very, very well before dividing the soaps into parts. Then I will do the swirling I want to do. I'm going to share the soap now. I'll put some parts into this bowl, just some parts. Okay, if you are making this, you should know the quantity you should divide them into. You should divide the soap into. Okay, I'll add my moringa powder. Okay, moringa leaf powder. Moringa leaf powder is good for fine lines, it's good for wrinkles, it's good for sagging skin, it's good for age spots, good for dark spots. Okay, so I'll mix that very well. This is very hot, as in very hot. Then this is my mold. Please remember to get your mold ready before you start your production. All right, okay, so I will set my soap, then start adding the soap, whichever way you want to add the batter. Okay, it depends on you, whichever way you want to add it. Sometimes I add the one with oud and fragrance at the middle. Sometimes I add at the top. Sometimes I add at the bottom. Like today, I decided to add first at the bottom, then I'll go on with the moringa butter. Okay, then I will spray it on the mold. Let it be uniformly, okay, sprayed on the one I poured first. Then I will heat the mold to remove any trapped bubble or air. Okay, I'll tap it, then continue with the batter. I will also add another batter into that same bowl. You can use another bowl if you don't want to use same bowl. Then I will add my camwood. All right, camwood is good for rashes. I can't make baby soap without adding camwood. Camwood is good for rashes, good for scaly skin, is good for anti-aging. It helps, you know, it's very good for the skin. All right, I will add that also into the mold like I did. Then I'll spray it all over the batter I've added into the mold, and make sure that everything is sprayed out. Then I will add a plain badge, and a plain badge. Then I'll spray it out again. Then this particular plain one in the mold, I'm going to add the remaining ingredient, which is my licorice root and my sandalwood. My licorice root, I'm adding it because it helps to lighten the skin, and it's good for eczema, for acne, for it's antimicrobial. It's good for dark spots. Sandalwood helps for skin dryness. If you have a dry skin, sandalwood is an ingredient you would love to, or you would try and add to your bar soap. Okay, so I left the soap for 20 hours to 24 hours before molding, and this is me cutting it. Thank you all for staying with me, for watching, for learning this my herbal family soap. Bye, and see you all in the next video. You can also add honey for extra moisturizing.